I wonder if we can get in this. You're knocked back by the barrier. You need a more powerful demon blade to destroy this. It's a white barrier. I wonder when we'll get the demon blade for that. But yeah, welcome back, guys. Wait, let me try this again. Hey there, guys, Reckoning here, and welcome back to Legend of Muramasa, Demon Blade of Time. I'm so creative, aren't I? Last time we did a few enemy layers that were pretty easy, especially that samurai one, but, you know, that samurai one can't really be that difficult, unless you're terrible at fighting samurai. And I fought it at 4 under the recommended level. But now that we've got all those enemy layers out of the way, and I don't think that there's any we can actually get to now, we're going to go back to doing some story. So, first we got to get to the Saruga province, which, while I was trying to get over here, I took the long way around, because I'm an idiot. I went all the way up around through, oh wait, you can't see it there, never mind. I went up through Mino and all the way around through the top, which, had I gone the bottom route, probably would have been a little bit faster. But, whatever. I'm still here. I only have to cut out 7.5 minutes of getting from the save point to where I started at the enemy layer. So, not that big of a deal. Probably would have been a little bit shorter had I not gotten so many battles, but whatever. So what have I been doing? You may have noticed that this is a late episode. That is because, well, I finished off this school year, so I decided to take a day break and, you know, didn't record, and then I realized, oh wait, I don't have enough to make it until Thursday. I was like, oh, damn. So, here I am. Get that sword master sheath. And I don't know. I'd have to do a lot of buying off screen because I don't know exactly what I want. Another white demon. Another white enemy layer. Something tells me I'm going the wrong way. I don't know what it is though. Might want to check the map after this. Something tells me I'm going the wrong way. Oh. Technically I'm not. It's just way the hell over there. Got quite the walk. So, most of what I've been doing this week is playing Borderlands 2. But, you know, I mean, it's been an enjoyable experience. What I've been trying to do recently is just trying to get all the trophies, because Borderlands 2 happens to be one of those games that I can actually get the platinum for those who even know how the PlayStation 3 trophies work. I'm like 4 away. There's 1 I can do with my main character, and then 3 that I have to do with separate characters. And I'm pretty much done. So I should be able to finish those in the next day. So then, by that point I should have the platinum, and then I can go back to playing my Psycho, I guess. I don't think I might have mentioned the Psycho in a previous episode. The Psycho is the latest DLC character that came out. And he is just absolutely awesome. I don't know exactly how to explain it. From his action skill to the stuff that he says to all the skills that he gets, he's just fantastic. For those of you that know Borderlands 2, or really Borderlands in general, you know that each specific character has their own action skill. In the first game, there was Mordecai, Lilith, Brick, and Roland, who had their separate skills. Lilith had a phase walk, which is similar to Zero's Deception in the second game. Brick had a Berserk, where he could go around and punch shit. Roland could put down a turret, similar to what Axton can do in the second game. And Mordecai, used Bloodwing, which worked pretty well. That was character specific. If you picked one character, you couldn't just, switch and pick another one. You were kind of stuck with that through the entire game. The same applies to the second game. In the second game, you have 6 characters. You have Zero, Maya, Axton, Salvador, and the 2 DLC characters, Gage and Krieg, that were priced at $10 a piece. Now, Zero's deception ability, and my main is Zero, because it's pretty much a ninja. It's fantastic. And he speaks in haiku. How could you not love that? But, he stealths. He has his deception, which he throws up a decoy and stealths around, and upon leaving it, he has, damage bonuses you can gain. Like massive melee bonuses, good gun damage bonuses, it can work well if you're a sniper, or if you're focused on melee. Both of which you can be. There's a barrier here that we can't break. Guess we're not going there yet. Then there's Axton, who is basically, I wouldn't say a copy of Roland, but he's basically the replacement for Roland, as Zero was the replacement for Mordecai. Axton has some interesting stuff. Like, the second game has introduced Game Changers, which are certain skills that you can access at levels 16 and 31, depending on how you skill your characters. Like, the earliest you can get a minor is 16, the earliest you can get a major is 31. But if you, skill in a certain way, you might not get them for a while. But, well, I guess I should go over, I don't know why I'm doing tutorials for Borderlands 2. I mean, odds are I'm gonna do, like, a shoot and shit with Reckoning series on it at some point. Just, I don't know what character I'd be, Well, I guess actually I can use this as kind of an introduction to what the characters are, and then you can choose what character I would be. For this series, it would take hell and ever. So, Zero's the ninja who can do melee or sniping. He's got the minor game changers but they go by the names of Execute, Deathmark, and Bore. Execute, while you're using Deception, allows you to, if you have your sights set on somebody, you hit your melee button and you charge forward and, hit them with a melee attack, which can be useful with a certain other skill of his, which I'll get to in a second. Deathmark is, can be used to amplify damage on enemies. You go and melee somebody, and apparently I'm not focusing because I'm getting hit quite a bit. But, you melee somebody and you apply Deathmark. They take more damage, until the Deathmark ends, which can be useful in later game modes. And then there's Bore. Bore is probably one of his more useful minor game changers. What Bore does is it has effects in Deception and out of Deception. In Deception and out of Deception, that it will, you shoot an enemy, your bullets can go through that enemy and hit the enemy behind it. But then it can go through that enemy and hit the enemy behind it. And each time it goes through an enemy, it does 100% more damage. Now that can work on while you're in Deception or not in Deception. Though if you, fire a bullet in Deception, I went the wrong way, didn't I? Yes, I did. Son of a bitch. If you fire a bullet, you kind of end it. But the more important thing, if you're big on Deception, is that if you put a point into Bore, which is all you can put into it, you actually, when you go into Deception, all the enemies' critical spots are highlighted, making hitting enemies in critical points and killing them faster a bit easier. And that's his minor game changers. His major game changers are a lot better, so to say. So to speak, I believe is the term. His first one in his sniping tree is called Critical Ascension, which is fantastic. The way this works is that when using a sniper rifle, if you get a critical hit with a sniper rifle, you get 1 stack of critical ascension, which, if I remember correctly, boosts critical hit damage and gun damage by a certain percentage. And every time you get another critical hit, you add another stack of this. This effect can stack up to 999 times, every time gaining more critical hit damage and gun damage overall. Meaning that if you're a very steady shot, and a quick shot, you can rack up massive amounts of bonus damage, and just start killing things like a maniac. But if you haven't gotten a critical in a while, it will eventually start to decay. But if you're going to be a solid sniper, you definitely want to go for critical ascension. It's a definite. I'm not that much of a sniper, so I didn't really go for it. I mean, if I ever do decide to go full sniper, I'll definitely go into that. His next one is called Death Blossom. Death Blossom is an interesting effect, or skill, really. What it is when you go into Deception, you can hit your action skill button, and when you do, you throw kunai, which inflict a elemental effect. You can throw it up to 5 times, and it can apply any element at random. And it's usually best when it applies slag and then something else, because slag multiplies damage. So that can also be pretty useful for getting in good damage. And I found it useful on Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. I mean, and you can just spam it and get in some good damage, just as a start. Because they can't see you, you can see them, just apply a whole bunch of good damage and then keep hitting them. But then if you want to go melee, just strictly melee, you want to go into his skill called Many Must Fall. Many Must Fall is a fantastic ability if you're going to a melee. What it is, and this is a good skill, a very good skill when combined with Execute, and basically if you're going for Many Must Fall, you have to use Execute, because it makes it so much easier. The way Many Must Fall works is, well, when you have Deception, you go into it and it only lasts about 5 seconds. With Many Must Fall, whenever you kill something with a melee attack, you extend your Deception. As long as you keep getting melee kills, you keep stealthing. And every time you kill a guy, you deploy your decoy that you've deployed appears in the spot where they died. So, if you're going to go big on melee, you definitely want to go for Many Must Fall, because you can get a lot of good damage in, and it boosts melee damage to begin with, and then you could go in for other skills that'll boost, like, damage if you hit him in the back, or when you kill him you get health back, you know. Zero's a very good choice if you want to go for melee, and if you want to go for sniping, so you have options. I kind of go for an in-between, just to be good with guns in general. But that's Zero in a nutshell. And he speaks in haiku, so that's fantastic. Alright, looks like we got a ways to go. Let's see, what's my time at? Oh, I can go for another 6 minutes. So I guess I could go into Axton now, because I'm sure talking about Zero is just riveting. But then again, this is what I waste most of my time on, so. Axton is your replacement for, or he is your commando class. You know, he deploys a turret, which is pretty damn useful. And he's got a whole bunch of skills to go along with it. Let's see if I can remember his minor game changers. I don't really use Axton, so I'm gonna have to kind of wing this. I think I remember 2 of his minors. Not sure now. How was that? Well, one that I remember is that it puts up a, if you put a point into it, you get a shield on your turret, which you don't usually have, which can be useful to it can block enemy bullets, but let friendly bullets through, and it's not exactly protective against melee attacks. So if like psychos run up, then kind of screwed. But that'll help it take more damage, because if it takes too much damage, then it just, you know, dies, and you have to wait for it to charge back up. Can't remember any of these miners, though. I can remember all his majors, though. All his majors are pretty epic. I guess that's the word you can use. One of his major game changers adds a second gun on your turret and upgrades to fire slag bullets. If you're gonna be big on using slag, this is a very good thing, because slag boosts damage by a multiplier of, I think, 2 times in normal and true Vault Hunter mode and 3 times in ultimate Vault Hunter mode. So if you've got something that's helping you deal slag, you know, it'd be a little easier to solo with Axton. Just got hit again. The focus I can have while explaining Borderlands. It's weird. I leveled again. Fantastic. I think that's the wrong way to go. I'll fight you again. And then his next one is when you deploy your turret, there's a nuclear blast around the spot where you deploy it, which can be useful if you're throwing it into a crowd of enemies. But probably the one that I would go for if I was going to seriously go for Axton is the fact that you can deploy not 1 turret, but 2 turrets. And that can be pretty effective. And then if you go all the way up to 61, if you spend your points just right, you can actually go for 2 major game changers. You have a little over just enough. You have like 4 points you can spend wherever you want. But that's only if you've gotten both the majors that you want. So you can effectively put out 2 turrets that both deploy a nuke, or you could put out 2 turrets that fire slag bullets and have 2 guns on them. Or you can mix and match, you know. However you want to build them. Then there's Maya the Siren. I don't really think that Maya is my kind of playstyle. I mean, really what determines your playstyle is their skills, really. And I just don't really think her action skill is something I would enjoy that much. Basically what it is that she phase locks somebody and, you know, holds them in, or she constricts them and, you know, hangs them in the air, which can be useful for crowd control, or you can just use it to take out singular enemies, depending on what skills you choose. You could use it for crowd control or just, you know, taking out singular enemies. As for her minor game changers, what are they? One that I can think of, stop hitting me! One that I can think of is that when you phase log something, it'll pull in nearby enemies. And I think we'll end the video off here, but I might as well go into what the rest of the rest of her minors. So her minor game changers, of course, are when you phase lock something, it'll pull in enemies around it. You can phase lock allies and revive them if they are in fight for their life mode, which can be very useful and makes Maya really makes her the healer of the game, because she's got 1 or 2 other abilities that can help, that really make her the healer of all the characters. And then another one she has, if I can remember what it was. Alright. I believe it's called Cloud Kill. The way that this one works is whenever you shoot something, a corrosive cloud appears there. It just does continuous damage until it disperses. That's a continuous thing. You shoot somewhere, and for the next 5 seconds there's a corrosive cloud there. Very useful on certain enemies. And I guess for the rest of this information, you're just going to have to tune into the next episode of Legend of Muramasa Demon Blade of Time. So, until then, I'm reckoning you, the viewer, give me a like or favorite if you like this video. Leave me a comment telling me what you thought of all the explanation I was doing. And if either one of the characters I described would sound good for when I eventually get around to do shooting shit with Reckoning. I mean, there's still 4 more I have to really describe. But, you know, we'll get to that at some point. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But yeah, I guess, yeah, next time we will take on this boss area on Mount Fuji, apparently. And, yeah, till next time, just keep slashing the shit out of everything. Now, we'll see you guys in the next one.